Good day viewers, welcome to another edition of the Daily Strange Stories. I'm John Brown. I trust you've navigated the start of the week with energy and optimism. Our lead story for today. Bheki Cele's unholy 360 million rand deal with murder accused Cat Matlala exposed as he desperately tries calling Matlala 10 times before tender cancellation and before his arrest. Mysteriously rich Deputy President Mashatile in trouble again. Corrupt ANC's support base crashes below 30% as Ramaphosa's transparency and accountability gets compromised. As South Africa's political drama continues to unfold, a troubling connection has emerged between former Police Minister Bheki Cele and Vusimusi Cat Matlala, a businessman now facing serious charges including attempted murder. This link has been exposed through phone records that show Cele making desperate attempts to reach Matlala, calling him 10 times in a single day, right before a major tender worth 360 million rand for the South African Police Service is cancelled and just as Matlala's arrest draws near. At the same time, Deputy President Paul Mashatile finds himself entangled in fresh controversies, with his family's business dealings raising questions about mysterious wealth and public funds. All of this plays out against a backdrop where the African National Congress, ANC, led by President Cyril Ramaphosa, sees its support base crumbling below 30%, amid accusations that the leadership is failing to push for real transparency and accountability in government. This story begins with the phone calls that paint a picture of urgency and hidden ties. On the 9th of May 2025, Cele dials Matlala's number repeatedly, starting early in the morning at 8:39 a.m. He tries again about an hour later at 9:42 a.m., then at 11:46 a.m., followed by 1:32 p.m. The attempts continue into the afternoon at 3:54 p.m. and stretch into the evening with calls at 8:44 p.m., 10:09 p.m., and finally at 10:11 p.m. None of these calls connect, they are either missed or rejected. This happens at a critical moment when Matlala is threatening legal action against top police officials if they end his company's contract for health and risk services, a deal awarded just 7 months earlier. Within days of these failed calls, the tender is officially cancelled, and Matlala is taken into custody for his alleged role in a 2023 attack where hitmen targeted his former partner, actress and socialite Tebogo Tobechane. These records contradict earlier statements from Cele, who has maintained that he and Matlala share no close friendship or business partnership. Yet, the evidence shows far more contact than admitted, over 100 instances of calls or text messages exchanged between them. This web of communication draws attention from figures like KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, who has pointed to Matlala as someone deeply involved in underworld activities, influencing high-ranking politicians and police officers.
On the 14th of May this year, 2025, the task team arrested Vusimusi, who is also known as Cat Matlala, for an attempted murder times 3. I must highlight that this Mr. Vusimusi Cat Matlala is an individual who was awarded a police contract of over 360 million rand in 2024. An analysis was conducted on electronic communication of this arrested person. This analysis reveals communication between the arrested Vusimusi at Cat Matlala, Mr. Brown Mohotsi, an associate of the Minister of Police, as well as the Minister of Police, Senzo Mchunu.
The details of their interactions suggest a relationship that goes beyond casual encounters, raising questions about influence and favoritism in public dealings. Delving deeper into their history, Cele has explained that he was trying to set up a meeting with Matlala, who mentioned wanting to see him in Durban. They did meet once before, in November 2024, introduced through another person to discuss certain issues. By that time, Matlala's company, Medicare 24 Tshwane District, had already been handling medical screening services for the police force's 180,000 members for 5 months. This small company, started in 2019 and operating from a strip mall in Boksburg, surprisingly outbid large, established insurers listed on the Johannesburg Stock Exchange for this 3-year contract. Cele has been reluctant to elaborate on what exactly they discussed during that November meeting, dismissing inquiries by saying he would only share details with official investigators, not outsiders. The tension escalates when considering Cele's use of Matlala's luxury penthouse apartment at the Capital Menlyn Main Hotel in Pretoria. On the 27th of January 2025, Matlala sends a message to the hotel's corporate sales manager, requesting that Cele be granted access to the penthouse whenever he is in the area, describing him as both a friend and a business partner. Cele has acknowledged staying there on 2 occasions, explaining that he spends much time in Pretoria and uses various places for accommodation. However, he insists there is no business involvement with Matlala, claiming their acquaintance began only in 2025. This arrangement adds layers to the narrative, suggesting a level of comfort and access that contradicts claims of distance. The tender itself is mired in controversy. Matlala secured it while under investigation by the Special Investigating Unit and the Hawks for suspected procurement fraud linked to millions in payments from Tembisa Hospital. This scrutiny started after whistleblower Bebita Diokaran flagged irregularities just 3 weeks before her death, uncovering what turned out to be a 2.3 billion rand network of extractions at the facility. An internal audit completed in January 2025 highlights signs of fraud, collusion, and violations of procurement rules in Matlala's dealings. The cancellation of the tender, which happens 103 days after Police Commissioner Fania Masemola is advised to end it, is based on several specific grounds. These include ongoing underperformance by Matlala's company, irregularities in the bid documents, the use of unauthorized personnel, false claims about staff and authority, misrepresentations of the company's structure, undisclosed changes in directors, and practices that amount to fronting. Now, the award of this tender is part of a criminal investigation by the Investigating Directorate Against Corruption. Since the deal's termination, Matlala remains in custody, facing charges of attempted murder, money laundering, and actions to obstruct justice. Additional similar charges relate to failed attempts on the lives of Joe Sibanyoni, known as Joe Ferrari, and Silky Mogubung, also known as DJ Vetis. Shifting focus to Deputy President Paul Mashatile, new troubles arise from his son-in-law Neba Nongwelo's dealings with the Gauteng Partnership Fund. The fund has taken legal action in the High Court to recover 12.6 million rand from Nongwelo and his company, Nongwelo Investments. This stems from a March 2017 loan intended for building low-cost housing and student accommodation in Highlands, Johannesburg. Despite the funds, no such structures have been built since the project began in 2013. The amount owed includes 7.2 million rand in principal plus about 5.4 million rand in interest. Nongwelo is personally responsible because he signed a guarantee as the shareholder. The Gauteng High Court in Pretoria issued summons on the 27th of January 2025, giving Nongwelo a set period to respond, which he has missed. Instead of pursuing default judgment, the fund has opted for mediation, scheduled for the 22nd of September 2025. Court documents show that in November 2023, the fund sent a demand letter noting the loan's cancellation and the project's non-viability, demanding 11.3 million rand within 7 days. A settlement was reached in December 2023, where the fund would try to sell the property and arrange payment for any remaining debt. By October 2024, another demand for 12.6 million rand followed, as the property sale failed, leading to the court filing 2 months later. This loan is part of a larger set of 3 loans totaling 37 million rand granted to Nongwelo between 2013 and 2017. It started with a 5.5 million rand bridging loan in 2013, linked to an 8 million rand loan from the National Housing Finance Corporation, which was later cancelled. In March 2017, new agreements for 12.9 million rand and 17.8 million rand were made, bringing the total to 30.7 million rand, secured by bonds on the property. These loans came after cost overruns due to underground rocks increasing construction expenses. Despite the issues, only 7.2 million rand has been disbursed by the fund. An investigation by GMI attorneys, commissioned after public scrutiny, notes that not all documents were available to confirm if policies were followed. It questions the change from affordable housing to student accommodation without legal basis, possible negligence in site investigations, and the fund's failure to use all recovery options. The report incorrectly dates one loan to 2013, but documents show it as 2017. Mashatile, who was Human Settlements MEC in Gauteng during part of this period, has denied involvement, though the timing overlaps with his efforts to restructure the fund for mega-housing projects, including a failed 30 billion rand fund with the Public Investment Corporation. Further complicating Mashatile's position are companies connected to his sons receiving 36.4 million rand from a Gauteng government contract for servicing fire alarms and sprinkler systems in public hospitals, with an additional 12.6 million rand owed. The contract, awarded in June 2022 by the Gauteng Department of Infrastructure Development for the Department of Health, goes to Ngwato Manzi Group and Modipeti Noganeng, set to run until November 2025. Thabiso Mashatile, the deputy president's eldest son, and his half-brother Tinyiko Mvelase held key roles in Ngwato Manzi Group, named partly after Thabiso's late mother. They started as directors but resigned, though they stayed on in management as project manager and head of operations. The companies share staff and office space, despite competing for the tender. Ngwato Manzi Group has been paid 15.8 million rand and is owed 2.9 million rand, while Modipeti Noganeng received 20.5 million rand and is due 9.6 million rand. The network involves businessmen Talecho Nala Matlagwana and sisters Lefense and Tato Noganeng. The company originally registered as Talecho Matlagwana Civils in 2016, changed names in 2021 after Thabiso joined as director. Multiple director changes, including swaps between the Noganeng sisters and Mashatile's sons, suggest efforts to evade scrutiny. For instance, Matlagwana resigned from Modipeti Noganeng in November 2021, replaced by Lefense, and similar patterns occurred since 2019. Later, Mvelase N. Tato resigned, replaced by Mzwandile Hleli, a schoolmate of Gosleod. Despite resignations, evidence shows ongoing involvement. Former employees describe serious discussions routed through Thabiso or Tinigo. The company's financial troubles led to retrenching about 12 workers in September 2024, owing them 219,000 rand in settlements, unpaid despite commission for conciliation, mediation, and arbitration involvement. Some funds went to unrelated expenses like renting a fax machine at a Pretoria forensic mortuary, renovations, and water system repairs at Southrand Hospital. These issues tie into broader calls for accountability. The Umkhonto weSizwe Party is pushing for Cele to testify before Parliament's ad hoc committee investigating claims of corruption and criminal networks in the police and judiciary, sparked by Mkhwanazi's allegations of syndicates infiltrating these institutions. The committee, formed in 2025, has adopted terms of reference, and party members argue Cele's tenure saw problems like political killings in KwaZulu-Natal and Gauteng, making his input crucial. They have formally requested his appearance, emphasizing the need to test evidence like removed dockets. This pattern of ethical lapses extends to the highest levels under President Cyril Ramaphosa. A 2013 study on local government ethics highlights ongoing issues among officials, worsened in recent years. Mashatile's failure to declare a diamond gift from a questionable businessman, met with Ramaphosa's reluctance to enforce accountability, mirrors the unresolved Phala Phala matter involving hidden cash.
God is good. All the time. God is good. All the time.
Cabinet ministers face repeated corruption claims, yet Ramaphosa defers responsibility, stating he cannot answer for others and suggesting to wait for explanations. Critics, including figures from the Congress of the People, condemn this as a failure to uphold integrity, demanding decisive action to restore trust. Compounding the crisis, the ANC's national support has dropped below 30%, according to recent polling by the Democratic Alliance, known for its accuracy. Among registered voters, the ANC holds 29%, down 11 points from the 40% in the 2024 general elections. The DA trails closely at 28%, up 6 points. Other parties include the MK Party at 11%, the Economic Freedom Fighters at 8%, and the Inkatha Freedom Party at 3%. This daily telephone poll of 1,820 demographically representative registered voters has a 4% margin of error, using a 14-day moving average and assuming full turnout. In key metros, the ANC's decline is stark ahead of the 2026 municipal elections. In Johannesburg, the ANC polls at 23%, down 10 points from 2021, while the DA leads at 40%, up 14 points. Action SA is at 12%, down 6, and the MK Party at 7%. Challenges include poor service delivery, with the current mayor facing criticism even from within the party. President Ramaphosa has expressed dismay at the city's state, especially during a G20 meeting, leading to a task team. Financial woes include 24.4 billion in unauthorized expenditures, prompting demands for explanations. In Tshwane, the ANC is at 27%, down 8, with the DA at 48%, up 16. The Freedom Front Plus holds 9%, up 1, and the EFF at 7%, down 3. Action SA is at 2%, down 7. The DA has named a former mayor as its candidate, potentially forming coalitions. Ekurhuleni shows the ANC at 19%, down 19, with the DA at 41%, up 13. The EFF is at 12%, down 1, and MK Party at 11%. This metro, once an ANC stronghold, reflects shifting dynamics. Even in eThekwini, the ANC drops to 14%, down 28 from 2021, placing third behind the DA at 44%, up 18, and the MK Party at 31%. The IFP is at 8%. Cape Town remains DA dominant at 61%, up 8, with the ANC at 19%, down 3, and the Patriotic Alliance at 9%, up 5. These metro polls, started 2 months ago with 250 respondents each, update fortnightly, with an 8% margin of error and 56% turnout model. While not predictions, they signal trends, with ANC sources acknowledging internal reports of deep trouble. Projections suggest the ANC may hold majorities only in Limpopo and Eastern Cape by 2029. This intricate web of connections, failed projects, and declining trust reveals a system struggling under the weight of unchecked influence and unaddressed failings. From desperate phone calls to unpaid loans and crumbling political support, the details expose how personal ties and public funds intersect in ways that demand scrutiny. As these events continue to unfold in 2025, they highlight the urgent need for stronger oversight in South Africa's governance. What do you think should happen next to ensure real accountability in South African politics? Should leaders like Cele and Mashatile face immediate investigations, or is there a better way to rebuild trust in the ANC before the upcoming elections? Thanks for watching this news bulletin. Please share your opinion in the comments section. We would be glad to read and respond to your comments. Let's meet again tomorrow in our next strange story. Have a focused and efficient Tuesday.